Can you tell me about the announcement the provincial government made last summer regarding the building of a new prison in Kemptville?
Well, the announcement was made in August of 2020, but the key feature about the announcement is it came out of nowhere. The provincial government did not consult with the citizens of Kemptville, and they didn't even consult with the municipal council of North Grenville. They simply announced it in a heavy-handed way to drop a 235-bed prison in a small village of 4,000 people.
What were the government's main reasons for choosing the Kemptville site?
Well, according to the Ministry of the Solicitor General, they looked at over 100 sites and landed on Kemptville. They never made clear exactly why they chose Kemptville. They did say that they own the land, but this is not the only land that they own in the province. And other than that, it seems that the main reason is its proximity to Ottawa, because they were planning on either renovating or expanding the Ottawa Carleton Detention Centre, and in order to do that, they needed to displace prisoners that are there now, and that's why originally they called the facility the Greater Ottawa Correctional Facility. But when people in Kemptville protested against the name, they changed it to the Eastern Ontario Correctional Facility.
Have you had the chance to research whether or not the province's claims are in fact true?
So the province has made a number of claims about the proposed prison. One of them is that it would create some local jobs. Even they now have backed off of this claim, but only after that claim circulated in the media here in Kemptville. And we know, based on research, that there will not be any long-term jobs here at the prison. There may be some seasonal jobs like grass cutting and snow removal, but even that isn't clear because prisons like this hire out major contracts for more than one facility at a time. It's unlikely that there will be any kind of jobs created here. Now, another claim is that the new prison wouldn't impose any costs on the municipality. It wouldn't increase the taxes. But no government can make that claim for any length of time. During the construction, there will be unforeseen things that will come up. They are prepared to pay for some of the requirements for the municipality to accommodate a prison, like sewage and water and those sorts of things. But again, there's no guarantee that a future government won't expand the prison, or even this government might expand the prison, which would put more demand on the municipality. So that claim is not one that we can put a tremendous amount of faith in. A completely different kind of facility. This one would be state-of-the-art, a rehabilitative facility that would use all of the modern technologies and methods of incarceration. Now, that's always nice to hear. The thing is, people have heard this 30 years ago, 25 years ago, 15 years ago. They've been hearing it for years with every new prison that is being built. And in fact, one of the most recent ones built, that promise was made, and it has not happened. The culture of incarceration in Ontario has not changed, and a building, whether it's red paint, yellow paint, big windows, small windows, is not going to make any difference unless there's a complete rethinking of the prison system. And if you do rethink the prison system, the interesting thing is we don't need a new prison. So really, if they were going to do things very differently, they would do the kind of work they need to do now to make sure that we don't even need prisons.
Is your local North Grenville Council in favor of this decision?
One of the very frustrating things is that it's been over 7 months that we've known about this prison. And Municipal Council, to its credit, has been in regular, if not constant, contact with officials from the provincial government. But the thing is, it's all been very secretive, and we don't know what's going on. And one of the key things we don't know is whether this council is actually in favor or not. Now, I have to say that they talk as if they are, they walk as if they are, and we have to assume that they are. We think one of the reasons they may be is that early on the province offered up some little inducements, some little sweeteners, in order to make this proposal be a bit more acceptable. And it appears to have worked in that Municipal Council now seems to be a little bit more favorable to this proposal.
If the council stood with the residents that are opposed to this decision, do you think that would have an influence with the provincial government?
If Municipal Council was against this proposal, it would make a very big difference. First of all, they would be able to bring the concerns of citizens, I think, more clearly and forcefully to the provincial government and to our Member of Parliament, Steve Clark. Another thing is Municipal Council to date appears to be representing the interests of the provincial government rather than the interests of the residents of Kemptville. And I say that because when they're speaking publicly, they seem to simply echo the talking points of the provincial government. And we know they are negotiating some potential secret backroom deals with the provincial government. Therefore, they're kind of keeping quiet about what's going on. As a result, those who are concerned about the prison don't really see this council representing their interests.
Did Kemptville have any plans in mind for the site that the province wants to use for their new prison?
One of the sad things about this proposal is that it goes completely against some of the innovative and progressive plans that this municipal council was bringing forward. This included the college campus master plan, which is a really important piece of the vision that council had for the town of Kemptville. It included a tourism strategy to help attract visitors to our town to help its business development. It also included the green and growing marketing of Kemptville as a mix of new development and the agricultural heritage and history of the area. And there was also the renovation of the downtown core to modernize and beautify the village.
Have you learned anything about the prison system in Ontario that has affected your view of the proposed prison?
When we started to look at the prison system in Ontario and why we needed a prison here, or why we need prisons anywhere, we discovered that there is a very simple solution to improving the prison system, and the government has known about it for some time. They've been talking about it for some time, and that is reforming the bail and remand system. Right now in Ontario jails, up to 60 to 70% of the prison population are people who are on remand, which is that they're only waiting for their day in court or for sentencing. And we know that if the government simply let these people out on bail, it wouldn't affect crime rates or create any social problems. And the best proof of that is that during the pandemic, because of overcrowding in prisons, the government let out 30 to 35% of the prison population on bail. There was no uptick of any crime or anything like that, and it shows that it could be done virtually overnight. And if they did that, they would not need to even build a prison. And if the government simply repeated what they did during the COVID pandemic and released about a third of the population on bail, we wouldn't even need a $250 million prison. Now, another frustrating thing with our municipal council is that for a project of this magnitude, it has never appeared on any public part of a council agenda. And in fact, they haven't done an evaluation of the impacts of a prison on Kemptville, whereas this is something based just on good planning that they would normally do. I mean, just recently in the North Grenville Times, we saw an article about the extent to which they're studying, involving the public, carefully looking at the establishment of cannabis facilities. And as they should. This is the sort of thing that municipal council ought to be doing. And yet for something like the prison, nothing of the kind. And that is extremely disappointing.
How could the $250 million the province wants to spend on constructing this new prison be better used?
Well, we're still in the middle of a pandemic, and this money could go a long way in investing in the recovery of the economy. And building prisons has no spin-off economic benefits. For a while you're constructing it, and that's it. But what we really need is money invested in the kind of healthcare that we're going to need as a result of the pandemic. Better education system, investing in nursing homes, preventive measures that would avoid people ending up in prison in the first place. These would be far better investments, and the government still has time to take an off-ramp here and rethink how they want to use this money heading into an economic recovery.
What is CAPP, and how do you hope to change the government's mind regarding this planned prison?
CAPP is a group of concerned residents that have come together to create a platform for people to become informed about the prison, informed about what the provincial government says and does not say, and be able to determine on their own whether they're for or against the prison. Now, as a group, it tends to be the people who are mostly opposed who have come together to talk about it. But CAPP has held some public information sessions that are open to everybody. We've brought forward experts to talk about different components of the prison system. This has been useful to inform the public, and these are the kind of things that we do. Now, another sore point in all this, our provincial member of Parliament, Steve Clark, has not really been engaged in any of this. He has received letters, emails, questions that were requested by the provincial government from the residents about the prison. There hasn't been any answers from the government or from our member of Parliament, Steve Clark. They've promised additional information about their proposal, greater detail about costs and that sort of thing. Again, they haven't provided that information. So I think it's fair to say that for a sizable portion of the residents of Kemptville and North Grenville, our member of Parliament, Steve Clark, has let us down. And we're hoping that that turns around fairly soon, because he needs to be further engaged in order to hear from the people, to answer the questions, and represent our interests.